Far too often, too many assumptions are made about learners. Instructors often assume that they already know how students learn, what motivates them to learn, and what their attitudes are towards learning. The first step in creating effective learning experiences in any learning environment is to analyze your learners. It's essential to understand who you are teaching, such as grade level, knowledge they are bringing to the topic, learning characteristics, previous experiences with the topic, and attitudes they may have towards the topic. In this course, you will learn about why it's important to analyze your learners, aspects that should be included in your analysis, how to utilize all the data gathered from your analysis, and techniques for acquiring the data. By the end of this course, you will be able to describe key characteristics of the learners in your online course that may affect their learning and which should be addressed during the design, delivery, and assessment of instruction. Why should you analyze your learners? In education, instructors often believe that they know their learners well enough to design effective instruction. In a traditional face-to-face classroom, this may have been the case, but for instructors attempting to apply more student-centered techniques and develop innovative learning environments that utilize a variety of resources, it's often necessary to gather data about your learners' needs and interests, as well as key contextual factors. When teaching students face-to-face, it may be easier to assess their learning style of visually watching them. In the online learning environment, instructors do not have this opportunity, making it even more critical to consider the variety of ways students learn and to create learning experiences that support more than one learning style. Understanding the learners is a significant factor in designing an online course. The course needs to be designed to support and engage the learners. Conducting a learner analysis can help make a course more productive and effective, as well as increase motivation in the students. Instructional designers often do not know much about the target learners, nor do they necessarily know the instructional and/or performance setting for which they are designing training. Therefore, a learner analysis is critical for identifying key learner factors that may affect the design of instruction. A learner analysis is important to help shape and guide instruction, as well as determine how instruction should be designed. A learner analysis can reveal important variables that may affect the learner and must be addressed during the design and delivery process. This knowledge allows you to tailor your instructional design and delivery approaches to better meet the needs of your learners. Learner analysis results provide instructors with information about key learner characteristics, including prior and prerequisite skills. The information will be used to design appropriate instructional strategies and assessment methods that fit the learner. The better you understand your learner's needs, the easier it is to create engaging and motivating learning experiences. Furthermore, by considering how different they learn, instructors can ensure they develop lessons and evaluations that address the various needs of multiple learners. What to include in your analysis? The aspects that should be included in the learner analysis includes entry behaviors, prior knowledge of the topic, attitudes, general academic motivation, educational and ability level, and learning styles. Now let's talk more about each of these aspects in more detail. Entry behaviors are special skills and knowledge that learners must possess prior to instruction to accomplish the specified goal, because they will not necessarily be covered in the instruction. These prerequisite skills and knowledge may be related directly to the content or may be associated with the delivery system. During your learner analysis, you are determining if learners possess the entry behaviors and noting implications for instructional design, delivery, and/or evaluation. Prior knowledge of the topic. This category includes knowledge that your learners already possess on which they can contribute to build new skills. This is also important so that instruction can build and relate to prior knowledge, and so time spent instructing students based on learning new material as opposed to teaching an area in which they are already familiar. It also provides an opportunity to see if learners possess discrepancies or misconceptions about the topic so that they can be clarified during instruction. Unlike entry behaviors, prior knowledge focuses on the instructional topic and describes skills and knowledge relative to the topic in general. Entry behaviors concentrate on those skills and knowledge learners must have prior to instruction to accomplish the goal that may or may not be directly related to the primary instructional topic. You need to address learners' feelings about subject matter and skills to be learned. Included in this area should be learners' perceived levels of attention, relevance, confidence, and satisfaction toward the content information to be covered by the course. The ARCS model of motivational design, attention, relevance, confidence, and satisfaction, helps instructors systematically analyze the motivation of their students. Following these 4 steps in this model enables instructors to effectively support motivation level of their learners. I believe that learners' attitudes towards content information and towards the delivery system are motivational factors that are better analyzed using the ARCS model of motivational design, and that learners' motivation to learn, or general academic motivation, should be considered as more of a motivational trait than a state. A person's self-reported attitudes are thought to be as indicators of their motivation. For instance, students' perceived levels of attention, relevance, confidence, and satisfaction are believed to represent their attitudes towards instruction in specific situations, rather than in general. It is suggested that instructional designers address ARCS when describing learners' motivation for instruction. In general, are students motivated to learn? What motivates them to study and obtain good grades across settings? What demotivates them in general? To gain a more accurate picture of your learners, I recommend reviewing more about motivation theory under the Determining Learning Theories section. Educational and ability level. Information for this area can be gathered through interviews and observations, records, and test data. Questions that designers want to answer may include information about the capability of learners to master the material that will be presented. How able are the students to learn the new material? What educational experiences do they have? Learning styles refers to how individuals learn best. The 3 basic learning styles and learning strategies for learners are auditory, visual, and kinesthetic. What you may not realize is that today there are well over 40 different models that are used for describing learning styles. Most models have similar components and are derived from the Minnesota Multifaceted Personality Inventory, or MMPI. This test has been used by medical professionals since the 1930s to diagnose mental disorders and help to identify an individual's personality structure. The model identifies the following 4 different types of learners. Active and reflective learners. Those who want to discuss or be active right away versus wanting to think about things and then reflectively respond. Sensing and intuitive learners. Sensors like being grounded by facets and intuitive prefer possibilities and imagination. Visual and verbal learners. Visual learners like to see information represented via charts, diagrams, and pictures, and verbal learners prefer to hear the information. Sequential and global learners. Sequential learners prefer small steps in the learning process, and global learners prefer the whole picture and working downwards. We all have these characteristics of learning, and so do our learners. However, we all differ in the degree to which we prefer one type of learning over the other. It is important to understand there is no right or wrong type of learning style. Each learning style has advantages and disadvantages. It becomes important for the instructor or trainer to understand how different learning styles respond to different teaching methods. Data about learners in this area can be gathered through interviews, observations, and attitude data that may be gathered through questionnaires. Questions that can be asked about learners would include what kind of learning mode do the learners prefer. Do they prefer traditional lecture or discussion format? Are the learners willing to explore other formats?